I'm back with another comparison of skin tints with SPF, something that will help make my skin glow but not break out my skin and also protect it from the sun. I love mineral products, anything like that. This was my beloved one from Supergoop, the CC screen. I had raved about this for years. I've loved it. Even when they changed the formula, I stuck with it and adapted to this new formula. Now it has been discontinued. My heart is broken. I've been trying different products to try and replace that and also maybe do a boost up as my skin is getting older. I still have breakouts, but I have the potential aging skin, which happens. That's why I use a CC screen, because I really want to protect my skin from the sun, and it helps with anti-aging. So I've had the bareMinerals Complexion Rescue for a little while, but I haven't tried it. I've been a little afraid to, because it has some ingredients in it that may break out my skin potentially. And also I really wanted to compare it with a sample of the bareMinerals Matte Tinted Moisturizer. It's also the Complexion Rescue line, but this one is more matte. So I do want to do a side-by-side of the two and see which one works better with my skin. I have a little bit of a difference in the tints and the shades. I know bareMinerals is often very forgiving with their powder foundations as far as tints are concerned. If something is a little bit too light, you can kind of mix it with a different formula, or it kind of adapts to your skin. Not sure if that's the same with the liquid formula. So we're gonna give this a go. And as usual, I did a little bit of samples from Sephora. This isn't a sponsored or ad or anything like that. It's all stuff that I paid for, and I just want to share with you my review. But I do want to mention that if you get a Sephora card, which is free, you can go in and get 3 free samples of any of their products, and there's no cost. You just ask someone that's there if you can try different things. And a lot of the times they're so helpful that they suggest different things. So the person who was helping me out, she had suggested the other two that I've already, the IT Cosmetics and the Ilia Skin Tint, and I did a comparison of the two, which was really fun. This one, the bareMinerals, is the one I wanted to try, and she was like, if you have acne breakouts, please be careful because it has coconut alkanes, coconut alkanes, and that tends to break out skin. So that's why I paused on this, because they both have that ingredient in it. But both products also offer an SPF of 30, which is a mineral base, titanium dioxide, and also hyaluronic acid is going to help boost the complexion. They both say that within a week you should have a complexion boost. So I'm going to try these for a week, both side by side, and get back to you on how things are going and if I see any difference in my complexion, if it's caused any breakouts, if it stays on my skin all day, because I'm pretty active. I'm outdoors a lot. On a 30 is okay for me as far as SPF. I prefer higher, but 30 is pretty good for a daily. And I'm often sweating because I'm either running around like crazy, shoveling snow at this time, or working out at the gym. So we're going to put these two to the test, especially that matte one. That's going to be really interesting if that sticks on a little bit longer. And I started with my skincare. I have my eye patches on right now and my daily acne control products, and also this from The Ordinary, which really helps with just keeping the skin hydrated in a nice base before you apply makeup. And with the bareMinerals matte, I went with Opal 01, and you can see that this one, the Opal, has a bit of a pinker undertone to it, and the vanilla has more of a yellow undertone to it. So the matte one I'm going to do on my left side, and I'm going to actually use this as an under eye cream as well. We do need protection from the sun for our under eyes, but I like to just see really how it works by putting it all the way up to my under eye, if it's going to cause any irritation, if it's going to stay put. The matte one is applying very much like a gel. I'm surprised it's not too dry. Let's just make a line right down my face. I like how well it's applying with the foundation brush instead of fingers. I feel like the brush is smoothing it out through my skin a little bit more. The coverage is very light if you don't want a heavy coverage foundation or any type of tint that you just want it to look natural. I feel like this looks really natural. You can see there's a lot of redness in my skin naturally. I have that. I have rosacea. I have a very rosy blush tone to my skin because of broken capillaries. So around my nose it's very red, and I have some acne marks or acne scarring that are always healing. Hopefully they'll get there eventually. So I do like to cover those up and tone that down a bit. I think this is really nice with a first layer if you just want to have something that is protecting you from the sun and also tones down some redness. Even though this is peachy, I think it looks okay. It's kind of deceiving on the camera, but I'm looking in this mirror really close up and I think it's matching my tone really well. I was a little nervous. It looked a little too pink and I don't want to add pink. I want to take away pink, but it looks okay. I'm going to do a second layer and see how that builds up. Second layer went on really well. I was afraid it was going to dry down kind of quickly because it's a matte product. On my hands, I can feel like it's really drying down a bit, but it made it a little bit more sticky so I could use it as a concealer, a very fair to medium concealer, but letting that dry down a bit worked. And I think that is laying so nicely if you don't want heavy makeup, but you still want to cover a little bit of redness or purple marks or any of that red rosacea stuff that's happening on your skin. It'll work really nicely. I don't have an active pimple. Some of these have already healed. So if I was covering up something really active, this might not be thick enough. But for just a light coverage that isn't like an obvious makeup look, it's looking good so far. But of course, this is going to be something I'm going to be comparing over the next week and let you know what's going to happen. So let's do the other side with the dewier gel-like formula with the hyaluronic acid. This one I went with the color Vanilla 02, and this formula says it boosts hydration by 215% in 1 week and provides 24-hour hydration. 100% of people saw improvement in their skin texture in just 1 week. So that's really nice news compared to the matte formula, which I think has, again, they have similar ingredients, but the matte formula is just controlling the oil production in your skin. We're just going to start with a little bit, and I'm going to do similar with putting the product under my eyes and seeing how that sits. I also like to apply it to my brow bone. For that area, I do want to also have sun protection as well. I really like it toning down the redness. I just don't want it to be in the crease because I noticed that anything I add in there creases with when I'm opening and closing my eyes, and I'm not using anything to stop that, so I'm just going to let it ride and clean it up if it gets into the crease. Just adding a little bit more coverage to those red areas and see how it takes to adding that second layer. And I changed the tone on my light just to see if this redness isn't from having the light be a little bit yellowy, so it's more of a cool tone to match, I think, both sides. The matted side has the lighter shade and the peachier tone down. I think it's a little bit pink. The other side, as far as color being vanilla, it's a little bit more yellow, and I can see that now in my skin. It's not like really strikingly obvious, but I can see the little bit of the difference, and I don't mind being out and about for the week having the two different tones. It's not that big of a deal, but I can definitely see that this side has a little bit more of a hydration boost or a glow, and this one is a little bit more matted, and I can see it now when I'm looking just after, like, I think it's been 5 to 7 minutes that I put this on. It's a little bit more creasy than this side. It's not too big of a difference, but a little bit. I can see that this area is definitely a little bit more hydrated. Where I have my smile lines, it looks more gentle, just softer. In this area, the smile lines, I can see a little bit more creasing. I don't want to wipe any of the color off, so I'm just going to keep that blended down, and if someone notices a difference, oh well. But we're going with this for a week. I'm going to check it back with you and let you know which one I like. Hopefully one of them, because I love bareMinerals products, and I'm hoping to find my new everyday skin mineral tint. Today is actually the 8th day, and I decided to cover my face in the Complexion Rescue. This one works a little bit better at making a dewier, healthier glow to your skin. The ingredients of the two are so similar though, but there's just a couple of reasons why the matted version may be better for you for the summertime if your skin is more oily and also you're trying to matte it down and you don't want any type of glow to your skin, or you just want to control oil, then obviously the matte version is going to be better for you. But at this time of year, even with my super oily skin, I have really oily skin, I still found that the hydrating formula was a lot more effective. So a quick breakdown of the two products. They're both $39.50 for like their average price on the bareMinerals website. 1.18 fluid ounces, 35 mil, and they both equally last a long time. And you can see I had this little sample. It's been 8 days. Well, I used it for 7 days because I didn't use it today. And that is how much I have left. I really didn't need to use a lot. With the shades, they each have 20 shades. They're identical. So whatever shade you have in matte, it will be the same in the hydrating formula. So that's one reason why I decided to put it all throughout my skin, because throughout the week, even when I went outside, I went to the gym and I'd look in the mirror, I'd see that this side of my face looked a little bit more like somebody smacked me. It had a bit of a blush to it that I didn't want, and it wasn't matching over here too well. It wasn't super noticeable because these are very forgiving. They're just skin tints. They're not heavy, thick foundations. Layering them was pretty easy. So I could do one layer of a sheer coverage and then quickly do a second layer, especially with the matted version on the left side. And they both worked really well, adding a little bit of blush on top and any type of powders that I wanted to add for extra coverage. They're not very good at heavy coverage, but I did notice that the matted version just covered a little tiny bit better than the hyaluronic acid version. So speaking of ingredients and mentioning hyaluronic acid, first thing I wanted to note is they have very similar ingredients. The 6 is the key to the difference between the two that I've really noticed. The natural matte tint has the 6th ingredient being kaolin, and that is going to be one of the things that's going to really control and suppress oil. Kaolin is often used in any type of masks that you may use on your skin to absorb oil and to kind of help clean up your complexion. It's a really amazing ingredient that does help with that a lot. The tinted moisturizer version, the 6th ingredient, really helped make the product much more smooth for application, but also does make your skin a little bit more dewier and protected. So those are the big differences I found in the first grouping of ingredients. And you know, when you have a product, the ingredients at the top of the list have the most concentration. So we both have water as the first ingredient. The second ingredient is coconut alkanes. And I'm mentioning that because coconut alkanes are really not good for people who have fungal acne, issues with fungal acne. That is a type of yeast that we all have on our skin, but some people are really sensitive to it getting overactive and causing what looks like acne and bumps, and sometimes something that's very itchy. It can be throughout your body, but your forehead and parts of your face will react to it relatively quickly. And that's why I give a good week also, because I'm very sensitive to this type of yeast that makes my skin break out. And that is what happened. Within about 5 days, I did notice the side of my skin that had the matted version was starting to break out on my forehead and over here on my cheeks. And I want to note that I didn't change anything with my skincare. I keep everything really basic so I can have a very good review of a product to make sure nothing else is affecting it. So it definitely was the matted version, but also to note that the tinted moisturizer version also has those same 5 fungal acne triggers, but I didn't have a reaction with that product on this side. So I'm going to continue to use it for another week and see if anything happens, but something about this product did make my skin break out. There are a few other flower extracts and botanicals, marine botanicals, that are normally really great for your skin, but it may just have been irritating my issue with acne. So this is really key if you have issues with acne, especially if you have any type of yeast or fungal acne sensitivities. Do a trial of this first to make sure it doesn't make your skin break out. Within a week, you're going to know, and then you'll know whether or not it's something you want to purchase. But for me, because that started to happen, I know that the matte version has some ingredients in it. They didn't get along with my skin type, and I'm not going to be repurchasing it again. I don't want to discourage you. Just try the sample. Make sure that it's something that may or may not work with you. And both have hyaluronic acid, which is part of why they're a really good complexion rescue. Besides the squalane, hyaluronic acid is going to help make your complexion healthier and glowier. Even when you have acne, you still want to make sure your skin barrier is healthy and being protected. So there are some really great ingredients in both that support acne and acne issues. They do boost your complexion in general because your skin surface will be healthier and glowier. Otherwise, I love this version. I think I'm going to stick with it and keep working with using it. And if anything changes, if anything erupts on my skin, I will definitely put it in the notes or put it in the comments. So if you have any products that you love that are skin tints and you'd like to see me try them, do mention it in the comments below, because I would definitely like to try it and give you back a review on my results.